a deeper, more secure connection in the marriage relationship flows out of vulnerability, risking vulnerability, and stepping into that.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Breaking Bread, the podcast brought to you by Apostolic Christian Counseling and Family Services. Kaleb Beyer is back with me for Three Small Things.
It's good to be with you, Matt.
This is our fourth part of Three Small Things, and we kind of know the cadence. We're going to learn three small things that benefit marriage. Really, they come out of studies that say, hey, we've been watching good marriages, really strong marriages.
That's right.
And there's just some simple things that are present in all of them.
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah. Rather than seeing how do marriages go wrong, how do marriages go
how
right?
Do they go right?
Yeah.
I love that optimism. We've been kind of grouping them in groups of three. The first one being purposeful, the second one being present with, and then the third one being positive. Okay, let's start off with number one, being purposeful.
Number one. So highly happy couples generously focus on what their mate is giving to them. The spouse, in turn, deliberately tries to give back. So you've probably heard the saying, Matt, that don't keep score in your marriage.
Score.
Have you ever heard that?
I have heard that.
That's not such a good thing.
Yeah. But this kind of turns it on its head a little bit.
It does. Actually, it can be helpful to keep score if we do it in a way that says, wow, I am so blessed.
Yeah.
And here's the ways why. Here's the score. And you know what? My score is huge because I have a spouse
who does this, and the other thing. It's really, so as we talk about being purposeful, it's purposefully focusing on the right thing.
It is. Yes. I think it is a purposeful focus on gratitude and gifts and blessings, right? And even as you think about that, I think this is very much a spiritual exercise because it points us to the giver of all good gifts, which is God. And so I think very much it is a skill that's a blessing, not only for our marriage relationship, but also individually.
It has the mindset where I see myself as the beneficiary in relationship.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is a huge paradigm.
Yeah. Joy flows out of gratitude. And so part of what we're talking about is highly happy couples. And by being intentional in the area of gratitude, it's kind of like planting seeds that then the fruit or the plant that grows is joy that comes from that, right? And so intentional kind of appreciation, gratitude leads to, wow, experiencing joy. And I think one small exercise that sometimes I have couples do is even incorporating this in prayer. And different couples have a different level of comfortability and, how and when they pray together, but is for 30 days, each spouse picks something they are grateful for, whether it's about their character, whether it's about something they do. They're thoughtful about that and then incorporate it into prayer with each other so that they're praying, thanking God.
And then the spouse hears that?
Exactly.
Okay, that's important.
Yes, that is important. Yep. And so it incorporates that idea of gratefulness, but also an expression and in a spiritual component with that as well.
I like that. I like that. How about number two?
Number two, highly happy couples fully invest emotionally in their marriage by risking vulnerability. This leads to a dramatically increased security and happiness in the relationship.
Okay. So now this is in the present category. Being present.
Yes.
And the presence that this is asking for is vulnerability.
Yeah.
What does this build in marriage? Vulnerability.
So appropriate vulnerability builds trust when there is a healthy relationship where there's safety.
Yeah.
Okay? When there's safety, then I open up and step into risking vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right? And that leads to deeper connection, deeper security.
And let's put our finger on why that's so difficult. This is the person who could reject me at the most painful level.
Yes.
Am I right?
You're right.
My spouse is.
Absolutely.
And I am risking that possible rejection by opening myself up.
Right. Absolutely. You put your finger on it. And I think when we do that, there can be shame or embarrassment, right, that flow in, or even in some cases, other times maybe in my life that I've been vulnerable or I've stepped into vulnerability and it hasn't gone well, right? That can lead to me struggling to risk opening up to be vulnerable. And so all of those are certainly factors in this area of vulnerability that are important to keep in mind. But what we are saying is a deeper, more secure connection in the marriage relationship flows out of vulnerability, risking vulnerability, and stepping into that.
What does vulnerability look like then in marriage? You had the qualifier, I noticed, of appropriate vulnerability. I'm curious what you mean by that qualifier.
Yeah. That qualifier came out of a place that says, you know what, if there's been betrayals and broken trust, okay, in that scenario with that couple, we would expect something different than a healthy relationship where there hasn't been those injuries or betrayals.
If the care and infrastructure is not there to support the vulnerability.
Right. That's a yeah.
And so there is a wherewithal or some wisdom required here as we think about being vulnerable. And in some of those cases, the answer is not necessarily closure or concealment. The answer is help in many different areas.
Right.
And vulnerability that's stewarded.
Yes.
Right.
Correct.
So we're going to go to this place now of just good vulnerability in marriage. And I had to think as you explained that, Kaleb, that's really intimacy. And I've heard people use the intimacy as into me you see.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what a powerful thing, right? Really, isn't marriage about intimacy?
Yeah, it is. It's that whole idea of being fully known.
Yeah.
That I know your heart, I know your fears, I know your struggles, and I love you just the same.
Yeah.
And I think that vulnerability leads to an opportunity to have that type of security and acceptance to say, wow, somebody I love so much. I've shared the parts of me, the warts and all, and they love me.
And they have not rejected me.
Yes.
You know, and really, this really, I think, elevates the beauty of physical intimacy.
Yes.
That physical intimacy really is just a reflection of a genuine intimacy where we have exposed and shared all of us with each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's like at the pinnacle of intimacy.
It is, right?
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yep.
Number three.
Number three, highly happy couples give their spouse most of the credit for their relationship success, and they live in regular, conscious gratitude as a result.
We're getting back to that thankful piece,
It
which
is.
has really been, I think, a common thread through these talks. Somehow thankfulness has kind of been very relevant.
Yep.
And it does in this one.
Yeah. I think you're right. There is a number of places that gratitude theme shows up. And I think there is opportunity for us individually. And I think here's the piece that we can actively do on our own today, right? Sometimes as we think about building a healthy, happy relationship, there's certain things we just need to do together as a couple.
Yeah.
But if you think about this is something today, I can go out and start intentionally doing on my own, my inner thought life, that I can orient myself towards gratefulness, towards giving my spouse credit. And then, you know, and this, I think, take it a step further, so that when we're at potluck or when we're, you know, meeting someone here or there, I'm like,
it affects the way we speak
it does.
About our spouse.
Yes. And I'm building them up to others and saying, wow, I can't believe she married me, you know? And it's a way of, but not just flippantly saying that, truly meaning it and living from that place. Yeah.
We all marry up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's good that we see it that way, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It's good for us. It's good for our spouse. It's good for our relationship.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's neat. Thanks, Kaleb. Thanks again for three small things. I think that's a refreshing perspective to say, what are those small things? What are those things that matter? It's so incredibly important to learn that.
What matters?
What matters. That's what makes a person good at what they do, is they learn what matters. Every apprentice is learning basically what matters in whatever it is that they do, whether it's building construction or whether it's blacksmithing or whether it's learning some medical skill or whatever. They're always listening and learning. Okay, now what should I be looking for?
Yeah.
What should I be watching for?
Yeah.
What is it that really matters in this condition and makes the long-term difference?
Yeah.
What if we, as husbands and wives, were as studious about what matters? And really, I feel like you've done that with all of these podcasts. Okay. All of these now together are 12 things that matter.
Yeah.
And I think they're really accessible. And I think that's exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks each one for being here. As always, we trust that these podcasts have provided hope and healing and direction and good teaching for you. So thanks each one. Contact us at office@accounseling.org at any time with comments or feedback or questions. We always welcome that. Thanks. Goodbye.